Hello everyone, welcome to a video here on the channel. Today we're talking about XDefiant, the upcoming first-person shooter, which is free to play from Ubisoft. So we have the open beta, it's available now, and all the fears that this game was just going to be a generic Call of Duty clone kinda is true. Now I know I'm starting off on a bit of a sour note, but basically this game is a toned-down version of Call of Duty. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just what it is. So what is this game about? First off, there is no narrative to this game. It's just a fun first-person shooter. The reason I'm saying that is because all the major Ubisoft franchises come together in this game, and a lot of people took that as a confirmation about the theory that all the Ubisoft games share a same universe, which is still an ongoing theory. If you've played Watch Dogs or Far Cry, you've seen like the Abstergo logo in a lot of places. Same thing for Upper Echelon in some of these games, but this is not to confirm any of that. This is just them being there for happenstance purposes. Now, currently, the open beta has access to 5 factions. You choose from the Cleaners, which are from the Division. The Phantoms are from Ghost Recon. Libertard is from Far Cry, specifically Far Cry 6. Echelon from Splinter Cell, and DedSec from Watch Dogs. Each of the factions have 3 characters you can choose from. These are just random nobodies. They can be NPCs in the universe. I don't know. But none of the characters I recognize. They're basically just there as conduits. As for the factions themselves, they come with 2 unique abilities. The first is a regular trait that comes on a cooldown. For the Cleaners, it's a drone that shoots a flamethrower in a straight line. For the Ghost Recon characters, it's a deployable barrier. Libertards, Far Cry characters, they deploy a healing beacon. Splinter Cell is cloaking, and DedSec, they can hack onto enemy devices and disable their abilities for a limited of time. Each of them have an ultimate ability that charges over time as you participate in a match. Cleaners have a flamethrower. Ghost Recon, they have a shield that they can melee with. Far Cry is making your character more powerful with healing stims. For Splinter Cell, it is the goggles, which allow you to see through walls. And finally, the Watchdog characters can summon a hack spider that disables an enemy player. Now, the last ability, which is the link to the other bumper, is a grenade, which is you can choose from frag, sticky, smoke, flash. I think I said flash. Either way, there are an array of grenade options. So those are the characters you choose from. The loadouts come in 4 categories. You have assault rifle, submachine gun, DMR, and sniper rifle. And of course, you find out that some of these weapons work, some of them don't. While you have a decent selection of weapons to choose from, for the most part, the weapon selection really just stems down to whatever is viable. Oh yeah, I forgot there's also shotgun and large machine gun. So there's assault, submachine gun, shotgun, LMG, marksman, and sniper. Now, shotgun, large machine gun, and marksman are completely worthless. I rarely saw anyone using those weapons because they were just so unreliable in terms of killing opponents. Basically, everyone used either the assault rifle, specifically the AK-47, or the M4 automatic, or the MP7 for submachine gun. For sniper rifles, they're very powerful. They can essentially kill anyone in one shot. But unless you're really good and know what you're doing, they're not really viable. As for shotgun, LMG, and marksman, they're basically worthless at this point because they are not balanced correctly. You do have a handheld, and they come in an array of options. Magnum, simple M9, you know, they're there just in case you want to use them and need to swap out of your weapon as you reload. But the reason why no one uses like the large machine gun or the shotgun is because the shotgun simply isn't reliable when it comes to dealing damage. You have to be up close to someone, very close, and the submachine gun basically does that much more efficiently. As for large machine gun, the reason why it's not viable is because there's this delay when you're sprinting and aiming down the sights. Yes, that's also in Call of Duty, but here it's dangerously noticeable. Like, you literally can't aim your gun and fire while you're sprinting unless you have very specific attachments, and even then, that's hit and miss. So if you're planning to run and gun, yeah, it's not going to be a good option. At this point, maybe they might change it, but for now, they expect you to basically walk at the default speed if you want to aim your gun much more efficiently. In terms of map variety, Yeah, it's a good, healthy selection of various maps based on Ubisoft's various games. I can't really complain. To me, the maps seem like they're designed like Overwatch, which is fine. Like, you have some nooks and crannies, but for the most part, the maps are supposed to be very specific in design because you can't throw grenades into like bushes. There are only very specific areas where you can vault and climb over. So the maps are very rigid in their design, and they're not meant to be very creative in how you maneuver around the environment. They're meant to be very, very basic in how they design it. As for running, jumping, sliding, all that basic elements, nothing to it. As how damage is dealt, depending on whatever weapon you're using, determines how far the damage comes how much the damage falls as you shoot the weapon. For example, assault rifles can shoot longer distances, so they deal much more consistent damage. But if you use a submachine gun at long range, it's going to deal far less damage. So it's just how far the enemy is for you to deal damage. And well, the game is basic, like I stated. It's nothing really spectacular about it. The leveling system is what you would expect. You earn levels by completing matches and completing challenges. As far as I can tell, there are no cosmetic options, but I'm certain that's going to change because this is a free-to-play game, so they're going to have cosmetic options. Customization elements, you can choose up to 5 parts of the 6 options that are available, and you just choose whatever you think is best for you, and nothing really to it. Just pick and choose and determine whether you can use that loadout. There are 10 loadouts for you to customize and choose from, and there's actually a pretty decent shooting range for you to test out all these weapons, which I think is fantastic. Overall, it's the most basic thing you can think of. Like, the biggest issue with this game, and I'll get into the other bigger issue, is that there is no hook. Like, literally, it's the most basic, bare bones, generic first-person shooter you can think of. It literally feels like they took it from a pre-baked Unity as a store. It's like they took it from the Unreal store, a pre-baked tech demo, and just designed it around that. There's really nothing special about it. There's nothing here that really stands out as being like, I need to play XDefiant. I know a lot of people are saying like, this is going to be a Call of Duty killer. I'm going to go over from Call of Duty to this game because of the whole Nick Merck situation. That's not going to happen. Definitely not. Like, Call of Duty is still superior in a lot of ways. Granted, that is a box title. You still have to pay $70 for that game. And this is free to play, but it's not going to dethrone Call of Duty. Absolutely not. It's just here for what it is. And I actually give it credit. It's not trying to be anything than what it is. It's not trying to lure you in with some sort of false marketing gimmick or something like that. It's a first-person shooter. You play in an array of generic matches such as Escort, King of the Hill, Domination, Headquarters, and you just play it for what it is. Oh yeah, there's Juggernaut, a variation of it where you basically kill enemies and accumulated points, and yeah, it's just Juggernaut. So it's nothing special about it. The biggest issue that they do need to resolve is the matchmaking. As of now, the matchmaking is completely terrible. It is seriously lopsided in so many ways. There have been matches, I would say a good 70% of my matches were lopsided, both on my side and on the enemy team. Like, rarely did I get a match that was balanced. Usually I was teamed up with players who were level 1 and below. And look, I know being level 1 doesn't determine your skill level, but it does determine your experience within the game. And you can tell a lot of the players who were on my team didn't know what they were doing. They were just like there. And it really shows that the matchmaking is right now just get people into a match. Again, this could just be because of the beta. They want to stress test everything, but it's pretty alarming of how bad it is because the matches, again, were so lopsided either in my favor or against my favor that matches just end up being one-sided. There's no really give or take. There's just like, your team is just better and the other team sucks. There's no balance in between it. And if this is what we can expect from the final product, they really need to nail this down, because if that's how matches are going to play out, you can guarantee a large portion of your player base is going to exit right away if they're going to get into matches that simply don't feel correct for them. So that's it for XDefiant. I think that the game it's okay, but it could go down the route of Hyperscape if Ubisoft is not careful. I don't know what they can do to give it that boost that it needs in order to survive, because at the moment it just doesn't have anything that's truly distinct to help it stand out against the crowd. It really doesn't. There's nothing here that other games don't do that are better. And at its credit, there's also nothing that it does that is hugely terrible. The only thing I can think of, again, is the fact that the weapons need a lot more balancing for them to be viable, instead of players picking the same 3 weapons all the time. And 2, definitely the matchmaking balancing system needs resolution immediately. Like, it's really bad. So those are my opinions on XDefiant. Tell me what you think in the comments below if you played it. If you didn't, apparently a lot of people are having issues getting into the games based on my live stream. But we'll see. Anyway, that's the video. If you like it, dislike it if you dislike it. That's me, signing out.